we've got a big task ahead of us, a tall hill to climb on the policy front, regaining the public's trust. If you had, in fact, let's say you could sit down with an elected official, a regulator for an afternoon, a little bit longer period of time. What are those key points that you're hitting with that elected official or regulator?
You're not going to have a job if you don't embrace this technology. And that sounds like, I mean, look, it's true, right? And the reason why I say it that way is because if you think of the incentives of most elected officials, right, there's two types. There's people who want power and there's people who want to serve the people. We hope there's more of people trying to serve their citizens than the people who just want power. But regardless of why you're there, this technology is going to continue to become pervasive across American society. And so take the White House numbers. They estimate that about 15% of all Americans have Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies. There's other private estimates that are even higher. So you're already talking about a constituents across the country that's in the double digits and increasing at a pretty rapid rate. Then if you start to look at where jobs are being created, where economic value is being created and captured, like this industry is a hotbed, not only for the innovation and all like the finance stuff, but in Texas, you see all the infrastructure being built, you see the companies and the jobs. So I think that that's like a key piece to it. But more importantly is not just like, hey, how does this help me as a politician? I do believe that most politicians, even though they do dumb things sometimes, they say dumb things, whatever, most of them are good people with good intentions. And so they have some loyalty to America, to the ethos of the country, things like that. And if you look at Bitcoin specifically, Bitcoin is literally taking the United States Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and other aspects that make up American society that we as a people have all agreed to adhere ourselves to. And it has written it into software, and it has said we will not fucking change no matter what anybody says or does. And that is an idea that previously just nobody thought was possible, right? And then you take it a step further and you say, okay, well, that's great for things like personal property rights or individual liberties. But what happens when now we also take that and we apply those same exact ideas to monetary policy? And one of the things I've been harping on now for years, and it started out, I used to get calls from all the top hedge fund Wall Street guys. Then it was central bankers. Then it was even regulators, all this stuff. And they'd be like, stop saying this stuff. This sounds crazy. Is that Bitcoin is an automated central bank. And if you're an economist, if you're a central banker, you're like, fuck this guy, right? But ultimately, as a central bank, you have two specific things that you're asked to do. It is to be independent. Do not fly in the whims of political favor. Do not do things that would make us believe that you're corrupt or anything. Be an independent organization. And the second thing is be predictable. Your predictability is the core feature of which American citizens are basing their future on. They are planning their lives based on you having a predictable monetary policy. So when you're not predictable, you're fucking people. And so ultimately what we have asked for is we've asked humans to sit down, to take data, which is inaccurate, but they take data where literally we're sending about 400, 500 people from BLS, Bureau of Labor Statistics, go into the grocery stores with tablets and they're manually inputting the price of things. It's 2022. What the fuck is going on? Right? We have Square, Block, right? We have Affirm. We have all these companies that have hundreds of millions of data points that they get actively every single day in real time. Why are we not using that data? Why are we using people walking into a grocery store? The data's bad. Okay, problem number one. Problem two then is we're going to take all that data and we're going to sit in a room and we're going to synthesize it as humans. Guess what? Humans suck at looking at data. But that's what we do. And then we try to predict the future. We say, if we do this or this to the monetary policy, it's going to change the way that people act. It's going to change the way the economy operates, et cetera. We suck at producing or predicting the future. And so what Bitcoin ultimately does is it says, it doesn't matter what the data is. We don't even look at the data. We don't have to synthesize anything and we don't have to predict the future. We have a monetary policy that's set in stone that will not change. And you as an American citizen can now know and not just trust, but also verify that transparent monetary policy and plan your life so that your economic value you hold today will be worth a similar amount or more in the future. And like that changes the way that humans interact with each other in a society. And so ultimately, I think politicians start to say, wait a second, if my constituents are going to adopt this, if they're going to learn about this, it is going to change the way that not just I have to interact with them, it's also going to change the way they interact with each other. And if I can't speak their language, if I can't talk about this in a way that they understand, then I'm probably going to be out of a job. And that's the beauty of America is if we don't like you, we vote you out. And so let's see what happens.